connectivity as part of the flag carrier. We get various tourists from various parts of the world and provide the interior connectivity through Air India or Air India Express. And as just Secretary Sir had mentioned about Buddhist circuit, we already are flying into to most of the countries where the Buddhist traffic usually flies, whether it's Korea, whether it's Japan. We very soon will be going into Philippines. We already go to Vietnam. We go to Thailand. We go to Singapore. We go to Malaysia. I think a major chunk of the Buddhist traffic comes from these countries, and as we expand our operations into these countries and cities like Gaya come into the circuit, there will be huge amount of tourists which will be coming to visit various parts. We already know Varanasi has already been operating as a good airport. Kushinagar has already been opened. So this is one part of the tourism which can be built. Air India, as you all know, has a huge role in not only taking people from India to various parts of the world as a network carrier and creating hubs, which are 3 hubs which we are creating: Delhi, Bombay, and Bangalore. What we are trying to do in the coming year as we expand our footprints, as people, as global citizens who are traveling from one part of the world, let's say from Southeast Asia and going to Europe, we would like all those people to stay and spend some time in India. And then we are trying to build some robust packages where people take a stopover in India, spend 2 or 3 days, and then go further to their destination. This itself will create a lot of tourism potential for the hotel operators, for state governments. So it's an opportunity for all of us that we need to collaborate together, so that all these people who are currently flying probably through any other hub, once we bring them into Delhi and Bombay, and we give them a 2 days or 3 days of stay and a fare which includes all these packages. And as Mr. Goel said, not only Taj, we will be talking to other hotel chains as well, where we can create a kind of inbuilt fare package where the traveler comes and stays for a couple of nights in India and then probably visit the normal tourist destinations, so that next time when he makes plan to for his holidays, he comes for 5, 7, 9 days. So these are very big opportunities where India, where as Secretary Sir said, that next 5 years as aviation, and not only Air India, there are other airlines and all who have a huge order in place. In next 5 years, we'll be doubling our fleet strength, and as the aircraft start coming in, we need to go into various parts of the India to build that tourism. And there are various examples in previously where Kapil is not here, probably long time back, Goa used to be a October to March destination, and Sahara had started a lot of summer packages, and they took and changed the complete paradigm of Goa, and then Indigo came in, and they provided connectivity to Dehradun, Rajasthan, and all these cities where the fares used to be extremely high, and as soon as the aviation more flights went in, the overall fare structure came down, and there was a lot of domestic tourism which came. Mr. Rajiv Mehra was here, and I keep hearing that ITO is saying that there is very less hotels available during the winter season. And the major reason because of that is that the domestic tourism has picked up and including the wedding tourism, which is their destination. So more hotels coming in, more airlines coming in, it will automatically create that much of demand that whether it's through inbound tourists or the domestic tourists, there will be a huge scope of growth in the coming next 5 years.
Thank you very much. And now I request Kamal Hingorani, who's Vice Chair. What are your plans on promoting tourism to the states? And one thing, very day you can answer after Kamal and has spoken. And you are creating only these two, three hubs. But India used to fly from Guwahati to Bangkok, right? To Bhubaneswar, the cities in the east. We mentioned in the earlier section that Bhopal has an international airport, but there's no international flight. So Air India, why don't they start directly from Bhopal and North? These are big centers. We should do some study and so that Delhi and Mumbai are not congested, and all these states are like mini countries. They have their own population, they have their USPs. So both Indigo, SpiceJet, and Air India we should try to fly from other states internationally, not just within the states. So, Kamal, what are your plans?
Thank you, Dr. Goel. Thank you, ICC, for inviting me to this panel. I'm indeed honored to be here with all of you. I see a lot of friends here, and very happy to have our Secretary Sir Walnam too, who gave us a very good keynote on what both aviation and tourism together can achieve for India. Just a few thoughts before I specifically answer your question on what SpiceJet has done. Tourism, aviation and tourism, as we heard from Sumanji in the morning, contributes about 5.1% to the GDP. But if I quote some figures of 2 years back from WTTC, they had estimated close to 9% to our GDP for aviation, tourism, and the ecosystem that surrounds aviation and tourism. So probably that 9.1% incorporates a lot of informal economy as well. But the reality is that all that is actually coming from aviation and thereafter tourism. Also, the employment that's generated by aviation and tourism, again, if I quote WTTC figures of 2 years back, in India they were talking of close to 8%. This, of course, includes both formal and informal economy. But the reality is that having been in this industry for 40 years and having learned a lot, I feel that the aviation and tourism industry as a single industry, if I were to club it as a single vertical, amongst all industries in the country, probably contributes to more employment generation than any other single industry. And I think that is where we feel that the policymakers should give it more focus. Not that it's not there. We heard Secretary Sir telling us on what the FM had announced in the budget speech, 120 more airports in addition to 80 already which were connected. So we are talking of 200 new airports that have been connected, including what's being connected in the last few years and what will happen in the next few years, which is, I think, huge. No other country in the world has achieved that. And when you have connectivity, air connectivity, that is when tourism grows, and that is where both the GDP of a particular area of the state and the employment generation grows, as we all know very well. Dr. Goel just mentioned states are like countries. I completely agree. If I take the example of Maharashtra, which probably has a population of 80 million, if I compare it to, say, Vietnam, again, an emerging economy that's doing so well, with a similar population, both the state of Maharashtra and the country of Vietnam have a similar GDP actually, almost $500 billion. But look at the tourism. Maharashtra, of course, has the second largest airport in the country. Maharashtra probably had tourists which were, or rather Vietnam has tourism of 18 to 20 million passengers a year, last year's data, which is 5x of what Maharashtra did. So really, I agree, we need to have more connectivity from the state's capitals and smaller towns to not only within the country, but outside as well. To answer your question, Dr. Goel, what SpiceJet is doing, we've been around for 19 years. We started a lot of routes, which stimulated a lot of traffic within the country to begin with and outside. Of course, we did suffer a kind of a major turbulence during COVID, and of course, what Spice's experienced with the grounding of the Boeing MAX aircraft. Everybody knows we have 155 firm orders of the aircraft, which are now, of course, delayed for another 3 years. Having said that, we continue to start new routes. We continue to be the largest URAN network airline even today, and these are the small towns that we connect. You heard Secretary Walnam talk of seaplane services. We are very soon going to announce both the land and seaplanes that we are talking of as last mile connectivity to areas which could just be landing in a football field in the middle of nowhere, or in a water body, which is a lake, or possibly, it could be Andamans, it could be Kerala, it could be in the hills, and it could be wherever else. So a lot of plans that we will unfold in the next few months for creating this connectivity and thereby creating tourism. And just one more point, sir, before I hand the mic back to you. I think Sumanji mentioned a very good thing, that there should be a task force between both civil aviation and tourism ministry, something that I've been talking about for almost 2 decades now. And I think it's very, very important. The time has come now to have a very serious task force, and also to include private stakeholders in that task force, so that we can also contribute alongside the policymakers. I hope, Secretary Sir, you will agree with this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think after hearing two of the major domestic players, now I'll come to you, Harvinder, the world's largest airline, United. What does United do to promote, certain areas in the US? And what are your plans for the future? I think that's what we are wanting to do.
Thank you, Dr. Goel. Honorable Secretary, everybody, all my colleagues here, all the friends in the industry, good morning. Thank you for having me here. First of all, it's a great pleasure and honor. I think rather United is in a very unique position. First of all, between US and India, we don't have an issue of bilaterals because we have an open skies policy. And prior to this issue with what was happening in Russia and Ukraine, we were flying 4 flights a day to India, and the plan was to introduce a 5th flight. And unfortunately, we had to pause the rest of the flights, barring Delhi to Newark, that we're flying. But at the same time, what we are trying to do is, since Dr. Goel mentioned that we are the biggest airline in the world now, by 2 matrices. One is the fleet size and the ASMs, the miles that we offer, which also means that we have the planes available to fly, and more planes are coming in every week as we speak, the wide bodies as well. The unique position in India doesn't allow us to fly to India direct, but what we are trying to do is to fly via. So we have a joint venture agreement with Lufthansa and Lufthansa Group Airlines, so we are trying to bring in passengers via Europe, whether it's Frankfurt, Munich, Zurich, and since I'm also handling Middle East, we have flights to Middle East, to Dubai. We are trying to get passengers via Middle East as much as possible to cover for the shortfall that we have by not having all the direct connections that we wanted to have. Having said that, India remains a key market for United. So one of the things I really wanted to emphasize on is, in terms of the strategy and the policy, I think we're doing the right thing when it comes to India, in terms of the promotions, in terms of the the destination and stuff like that. The important part is talk about the real things that tourists face in India. So I'll give you one example. Apart from our commercial operations to India, we have a local global capability center in India. We call it India Knowledge Center. And I also serve on the board of that center with about 1,000 people and growing. We have officers visiting almost every week from US to India. And I interact with all of them more or less. And combined with their official visit, they're trying to visit various places within India. So whether it's a regular Golden Triangle, as we call it, Agra, Jaipur and Delhi and then beyond, the most key questions And the most frequent questions that I am asked, because since I'm representing United and I'm an Indian sitting in India, is about the safety of the destinations, is about the connectivity, is about the guides, and a lot of other things. So it's always a question of the basics that come. So as I said, in terms of promoting India as a destination, we're doing a great job. And we're also tying up with a lot of tourism or tourist-related bodies to promote this. In fact, our global key account managers sitting in the United States are talking to the corporate customers and other customers. And we cannot isolate, although we do talk about segments, tourism segment and the corporate segment, but we really can't isolate them. So for a person, let's say from a big corporate company is traveling here for business, next time he'll probably travel with the family for the tourist purpose or tourism purpose. So what we are doing in the United States is also trying to create that awareness about India through the tourism bodies or through the tie-ups. But what really is required is to talk about the basic stuff, because that's what they kind of want to know more about.